Test, 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 test. Test on the reader microphone, test. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin the graduation convocation. Please take your seats and turn off all cell phones or other noise-making technology. Please remain seated while the faculty and graduates walk in. Thank you.
Good morning, and I invite the faculty and those sitting on the stand to sit down. We are excited to welcome every one of you this morning to this Convocation event to celebrate the accomplishments of these amazing graduates of the College of Physical and Mathematical Sciences here at Brigham Young University. My name is Shane Reese, and I'm the Dean of the college. The purpose of these Convocation exercises is to recognize the efforts, accomplishments, and outstanding work of each of our graduates, along with the support, sacrifice, faith, and prayers of their family members and friends, including our faculty and staff, our board of trustees, and the millions of church members who have helped to make this experience possible. We extend our warm welcome this morning to James R. Rasband, Academic Vice President of Brigham Young University. Jim, will you please stand to be recognized? Thank you. On a personal note, I hope that all of you would know that we are grateful to have especially Jim Rasband as our visitor today. In many of the meetings that I am in with Jim on a regular basis, he asks me the question, what are you doing to bless our students' lives? And that's a common reminder from Jim, and I'm grateful for that and for his impact on our students here at Brigham Young University. Thank you, Jim. Jim also has a son graduating today with us today, and so it's a special day for he and his family. We also recognize on the stand the following academic leaders from our college. Would each of you please stand as I read your name? David Dearden, Chair, Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. Kevin Seppi, Chair, Department of Computer Science. Scott Ritter, representing the Department of Geological Sciences. Michael Dorff, Chair, Department of Mathematics. Blake Peterson, Chair, Department of Mathematics Education. Richard Van Fleet, Chair of the Department of Physics and Astronomy. And William Christensen, Chair of the Department of Statistics. Please recognize these academic leaders in our college. Others seated on the stand today will be introduced as they participate in the program. We've included a bit of background information on each of them so that we invite you to become familiar with their biographies as you read them in the program. The truth is they are just absolutely amazing representatives of our college, and we're grateful that they were willing to participate in today's exercises. We also wish to acknowledge and express our appreciation to our faculty who are seated over here at my left. Would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Our prelude and postlude this morning, processional music this morning, was played by Suzette Asplund, who is the wife of Professor Matt Asplund of the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, and we thank you for that wonderful prelude and postlude this morning. Claire Diane Hardister from San Jose, California, who is graduating with a bachelor's degree in statistics and a minor in mathematics, will now offer the invocation. Claire.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're so grateful for this day that we can celebrate graduation, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to have gone to this university and to work with the faculty, and for our friends and family that have supported us. We are grateful for thy guidance, and we ask thee that we'll hear the words today that we need to go on and with strength and courage to do thy will. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Claire. In a change from the printed program, I will now have the opportunity to address you, this wonderful class of graduating students. We excuse Associate Dean Gus Hart, who was originally on the program, who is attending a funeral today. After my remarks, we will have a musical number by a group of computer scientists, and you need to pay close attention to the name of this band or group, Sing Plus Plus. See what they did there? One of the members of Sing Plus Plus is Paul Mark Bodley, who is graduating today with his PhD in computer science. Following the musical number, we will hear from Scott D. Smith from Salt Lake City, Utah, graduating today with a bachelor's degree in chemistry and a minor in physics. After Scott's remarks, we will hear from Robert Lee Field, who is graduating today with a physics teaching bachelor's degree and a minor in mathematics. And after Robert's remarks, we will hear again from Sing++. Now for my remarks. Speaking at graduation carries a significant weight. Because of the heaviness of this weight, I asked around friends and family and my colleagues for help with a topic that might drive home kind of the importance of your future direction. I even found a website that is entirely devoted to graduation speaking with pages and pages of advice. But as with most situations in my life, the best advice I received came from my wife. She said, and I quote, "No one, and I repeat, no one is there to hear you talk. Keep it short." So in keeping with this sage advice from my wife, I want to share just two small pieces of counsel with you graduates as you prepare to leave this stage of your educational pursuit and look forward to your future endeavors, whether they be in education, work, graduate school, or other interests. I will then conclude with a metric for how to measure your performance with respect to these two pieces of advice. The first piece, I spent a lot of time worrying about how I might take a concept that is so absolutely timeless and convey it in a way that might resonate with each one of you. Was there some analogy that could really drive the point home? Could I use some beautiful imagery that would cement the concept and make it part of your life? In the end, I couldn't come up with a better way of saying it than just using the simple old adage, give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. The principle of working hard is largely shunned by modern society. In fact, I would offer to those of you getting ready to graduate today that the phrase work smarter, not harder, should be modified to work harder until you can figure out what you're doing well enough and then work even harder. Now, I realize that you are all getting ready to enter phases of your lives where you will be balancing family priorities, church responsibilities, as well as your work lives. But I believe there is still room for good, old-fashioned hard work. Work is an eternal principle. Thomas S. Monson put it so well when he said, and I'm going to try to get this out, work will work, while wishy-washy wishing won't. So my first piece of advice to you today, as you enter this difficult and challenging phase of your life, when the great challenge is learning to balance effort with all of your other responsibilities, is to work hard. The second piece of advice I give is a bit strange, but it comes through several addresses that I've heard from inspired prophets and apostles. It is to be meek. Now, in a few moments, you will have graduated and you're thinking about slaying the world with your chemical wizardry, your computational prowess, your understanding of the earth and its functionality, your formulaic profundity, your amazing ability to teach, your knowledge of the functionality of the universe, and your appreciation of uncertainty. So what role does meekness even play for those of you ready to slay the world? It seems like we've been building you up with the confidence to tackle the world, and now I'm going to say be meek? Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to suggest to you today. Elder Neil A. Maxwell said, "Granted, we admire boldness and dash, but boldness and dash can so easily slip into pomp and panache. By contrast, the meek are able to regularly peel off the incrustations of ego that form on one's soul so relentlessly and persistently like barnacles on a ship. The meek are thus able to avoid the abuse of authority and power, a tendency to which the Lord declared almost all succumb, except the meek." He went on to describe the characteristics of the meek, and that reminded me of each of you as you're getting ready to graduate today. The meek are filled with awe and wonder with regard to God and his purposes in the universe. At the same time, the meek are not awestruck by, I have to find the next page of my talk, the many frustrations of life. They are more easily mobilized for eternal causes and less easily immobilized by the disappointments of the day. Because they make fewer demands of life, the meek are less easily disappointed. They are less concerned with their entitlements than with their assignments. When we are truly meek, we are not concerned with being pushed around, but are grateful to be pushed along. When we are truly meek, we do not engage in shoulder-shrugging acceptance, but shoulder-squaring in order that we might bear the burdens of life and our fellow beings. So, yes, may we choose to be meek so that we may be less easily immobilized in our quest to change the world. The real question for me today, and this is the last point that I'd like to make this morning, is how do we measure how we're doing with respect to these two ideals? The single metric to determine how well you're doing it with respect to working hard and being meek is based on an idea I ran across in the faculty club. Now, I suspect that my faculty colleagues over here to the left just awoke from their slumber, because there is, in fact, no faculty club here at BYU at all. However, as a self-proclaimed pizza aficionado, I frequently run into faculty at our makeshift faculty club just south of campus called Slab Pizza. We meet there for a meal to discuss academic issues of interest. And in typical faculty clubs, you're likely to find faculty spirited and often highly critical of upper-level university administration and the decisions that they make. On one of my visits to the Slab, I was intrigued by a discussion with one of my colleagues from neuroscience. They were talking about President Worthen, the current BYU president. This faculty member, rather than criticizing, was surprisingly complimentary of President Worthen. In particular, this faculty member commented that President Worthen had an incredibly high intelligence to arrogance ratio. My third piece of advice for you graduates today is to gauge how you're doing with respect to your work and your meekness by your intelligence to arrogance ratio. Now, my colleagues over here in the mathematics department could easily tell you and clearly explain to you that all ratios are governed by two numbers, the numerator and the denominator. This means that in order to perpetually increase your intelligence to arrogance ratio, you must either be increasing your intelligence or decreasing your arrogance. And if you do both, the rate of increase in that ratio will be improved. Graduates, as you enter this new phase of life, please don't fall prey to either a constant or, even worse, a declining intelligence to arrogance ratio. Now, that's all the advice I have to offer. I want you to know that I know great things are in store for each one of you. I know that you will be blessed as you work hard. I know that you will find joy and peace as you seek meekness in your life. I know that you have a loving Heavenly Father who will make himself more apparent in your life as you increase your intelligence to arrogance ratio. And I share those remarks in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Bodley, and I was asked to sing a song here at graduation, and the first thing I did was look up graduation in the dictionary, and you're a brand new grad, you're a BYU grad. You can now work and save for a house. You've turned out all right. Your future's bright. You might even leave with a spouse.
Wait, guys, isn't that a little insensitive?
What are you talking about, Morgan?
Well, Casey, not everyone's married when they leave BYU.
Yeah, right. Like who?
Raise your standard high as you're repping the Y. Now alumni, you'll air bleed blue. And if Cougar football win, if not, still be true to the BYU. Here's to chemistry and physics, mathematics and statistics, biochemistry, astronomy, geology.
It rocks.
Chuck, that is such a terrible pun.
Oh, come on, Paul. It's not my fault.
Man. Chuck, you're such an igneous.
Look, you are just taking me for granted.
I lava you, geysers.
My sediments, exactly.
Computer science leads the throng. We dream of coding all night long in Python, C, and Java, but we sing in Sing++.
But not sing sharp.
Or Rue B flat.
Okay, guys, I got it. How about BYU's all-male 9-member a cappella group, BYU Floating Point?
Or the female version, Noteworthy.
Or, for the old-timers, Pearl Jam.
Loyal and true, wear white and blue. Here's to you, our brand new grad. You're a brand new grad. You're a BYU grad. Now go forth, show the world what you know. As the trail goes on, your faith is strong. Our cheers will ring out as you go. Raise your standard high as you're repping the Y. Now alumni, you'll air bleed blue. And if Cougar football win, if not, still be true to the BYU. Loyal and true, wear white and blue. Still be true to the BYU. BYU.
Wow, all right. I'm glad that I didn't get asked to sing, because that would be not quite as good. Thank you. It, first off, is an honor to talk to all of you today, and I'm appreciative of it. I hope that my words today can both encourage and inspire, and I will be the first to admit that I am not always the most insightful or eloquent student among my peers. At times I struggle to convey my thoughts clearly, and so this speech has been quite a work for me. However, I've come to understand that hope, persistence, and hard work can overcome obstacles that seem insurmountable, and this is some of what I wish to talk on today. But first, let us thank faculty, friends, and family for helping us reach this point. I personally wish to thank the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry and my family for having done so much to support me as I reached this point. I would also like to thank all the donors who broaden the education of BYU students through scholarships. I have personally received scholarships from various sources that have enabled me to graduate debt-free. Moreover, I would also like to extend the gratitude to the College of Mathematics and Physical Science for the numerous undergraduate research awards that they provide each semester. These awards provide undergraduate students with financial compensation for their time in the pursuit of research. Accordingly, this program has been a boon to many students and has prepared many others like myself for graduate study. In behalf of myself and my fellow graduates, thank you. During this winter semester, I found myself regularly engaged in conversation with several friends over lunch. This typically consisted of instant ramen and/or knockoff freezer pops when available. While these gatherings began as a much-needed break from the pressures of our studies, they developed into a ritual that persisted into the spring and summer terms. Jovial discourse and a smattering of ill-advised challenges often ensued. We talked of whatever held our interests: research, car repair, games, and the proper hierarchy of the double dare versus the double dog dare. However, as we sensed our last summer here passing, the tone of our forum shifted. Conversation became more serious, and we dwelled longer on science, philosophy, politics, and religion. We never agreed unanimously, but careful consideration of opposing views left each of us wiser and more tolerant than before. On a particularly somber day, a question arose that has stuck with me since. In effect, we wanted to know why so little seemed to change in the world despite all of the new and promising discoveries that occurred almost daily. Why does climate change and pollution continue to accelerate? How come violence and racism rage here and abroad? How can the intentions of domestic and foreign leaders be so opaque when the internet affords greater transparency than ever before? Simply, it seems that despite of knowing a better way, matters don't seem to change much. I don't think we came to a satisfactory conclusion that day, but having thought more about it since, I have realized that my feelings echo the sentiment expressed by Elder Holland during this last April commencement. He said, "You may hear people say that things have always been so down through time, and that nothing will change." Elder Holland's response to this was simply, "Maybe it has, but it doesn't have to be." Let me reiterate. Although ignorance, decay, and discord are sometimes our inherited pattern, it doesn't have to be so anymore. I firmly believe this to be true. I am confident that our education here at BYU has prepared us to change our communities and our nation. I admit that it will take time, effort, and inconvenient sacrifices. Indeed, change only comes when we act. However, the only thing more uncomfortable than making dramatic changes will be the consequences of refusing to do so. To close, I wish to convey that I am inwardly hopeful. This graduating class has been taught out of the best books by the most capable minds. We have worked hard to get where we are, and I don't believe that it is in us to stop now. It simply isn't. The task can be daunting, but it is with excitement that I look forward to the coming years, because change is coming. This is a great time to be alive, and I truly believe that the graduates of this class are up to the task at hand. Thank you.
Well, hey y'all. Not really from the South, but sometimes I like to do fake accents while I teach my students, see how many movie quotes I can fit in. But anyways, so before I start my talk, sometimes I don't communicate very well, and so I'm really hoping that the Spirit will be here with us today so that you can at least be smelling what I'm stepping in by the end of my talk. And so, yeah, that's my goal. At least you'll be smelling what I'm stepping in by the end. Or if you don't even smell what I'm stepping in, hopefully you'll get a whole bunch more of Sing++, because I really enjoyed that. Okay, so the topic I chose to talk about today, and kind of the main purpose of me being here and speaking today really is to express gratitude for all of our parents and the scholarship donors, and for everyone who's helped us out get to this point. So that's one purpose of my talk. The other purpose of my talk really is to share with you guys something that I've really sorry, I get emotional, especially when I'm tired. So, but something I've really learned over my years here at BYU. So the topic I'm going to speak about today is more of a phrase. I'm sure a lot of us have heard this phrase before. It's called "pay it forward." this phrase has developed meaning throughout my career here at BYU, and I'm sure it will continue to develop. But pay it forward. So the first phrase, pay it forward, the first time I heard that, I was like, wow, that's a great phrase, right? It's like, I'm kind of stubborn, and so when people try to help me out, I feel really bad when somebody else has to help me out. But when I first heard the phrase "pay it forward," it helped me to be able to accept help from other people, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect, right? So if somebody gives me $50, that means later down the road I can either give them back $50 or I can find someone else who needs help and give them $50. So it was kind of like a way for me to accept help and pay back the debts that I feel like I've been accumulating over my whole life. Through my career, this has changed. This viewpoint of pay it forward has changed. So where it first started to change is when I first got married. And I don't know about you guys, but there's two magical things that I found how happens when you get married. So the first one is you get babies. And then the second magical thing is you all of a sudden lose the ability to remember anything. Okay, I don't know how they come hand in hand, and it's just magic, like a flip of a switch. As soon as the baby's born, wow, I forgot everything, right? And so this kind of happened to me. I just transferred from BYU, Idaho, newlywed, and we didn't have a whole lot of money, and I also transferred from BYU, Idaho, so they don't offer scholarships for a whole year for students who transfer unless you have, I don't know how to do it. But anyway, so I couldn't find any way to get a scholarship or when I transferred, and newly married, so I was working a couple of jobs. My wife was working. We were getting the bills just fine. We had it in the bag, so to speak, or in the bank. But then my wife got pregnant, and we were super excited for the pregnancy, for a new baby to come. But my wife got really sick. And like normally it's just like, first trimester, we can make it through this. But she got so sick that she was, it was kind of a rough time for us, but she was throwing up so much, she had to like go to the hospital a couple times, and then they sent us home with in-home IVs, and so right before I'd go to class, I'd make sure to hook up her IV, give her fluids, and then I'd go to class, come back, take it off, give her more. But it was a pretty busy time, and she kept throwing up even after we had the baby for like a month after. And so she was sick the whole time, and so being that sick, she couldn't work at all. And I was working a couple jobs, working at the cemetery, working at the TA lab, doing all I could do or felt like I could do. And then also, on top of that, our baby had to be in the NICU for a couple of weeks, which I'm so grateful that they have the NICU and they can take care of newborn babies. And but we finally got to bring her home after a little bit, and then I was so excited we had a new baby home. I was a new father, and just super excited. And two things I noticed was with the new baby coming home, my happiness went up, and my grades went down. So after a couple of weeks of having the baby and the happiness high kind of dropped a little bit. Me and my wife started to worry a little bit because we started to look at how much diapers costed and how much clothes costed, and had to pay for tuition and books, and we were just thinking to ourselves, how are we ever going to make it, right? I mean, diapers, man, we got a potty trainer by the time she's 2 months old. Like, I just don't think we could do it. But anyway, so it really was it was a hardship in me and my wife's life, because we didn't know how I could finish school, and I was still kind of deciding what I wanted to do as a career, and so it was a rough time. But it was around this time, because babies take 9 months, right? So it was around this time that we were able to receive a lot of help from family, friends, and the scholarship donors. I obviously, after having a baby and having my ability to remember anything gone, I couldn't qualify for any academic scholarship. That was like way out of the question. But at BYU, they have a really nice program where people can go and donate and give to a scholarship fund who can give scholarships to people like me. And so so luckily, we were so blessed to receive so much help from family, friends, and the scholarship donors that it was truly amazing. We were overwhelmed by the amount of help we got. So it helped me really build my testimony and really experience what it says in the scriptures of receiving so many blessings, you don't have room enough to receive it. So grateful. And then along with getting all this help from family and friends, there was a phrase that was put towards us again, pay it forward. And just that phrase, pay it forward, at that time I was like, there's no way I could pay forward this much. Because what is it, right? Pay it forward. We need to be more specific when we communicate and pay it forward. What is it? Okay. I want you guys to think about, what is it? What are you paying forward? So as I got all this help, I was thinking, what is it? Right? I was like, well, we got money given to us a lot, so maybe it is the money. But as I continued to think about it, I was thinking, what did we actually receive? Sorry, but we received so much more. We received a new hope that we could make it through. We received just a lot of love and service and charity. So the meaning for me, pay it forward. Sorry, I'm a little tired. No, the meaning for me, pay it forward, really is, we may be forking out money, but what we're really paying forward is a new hope, a new sense of life. And I'd just like to say one more story to reiterate pay it forward, how it's not just money, and how it's not that we are just paying off our debts. So this story, it's a simple little story, but when my wife was pregnant and throwing up a lot, she didn't feel very beautiful, and we didn't have enough money where we felt like we could go and buy maternity clothes. And so my sister, having had, she's here today, so I'm just really touched. Anyways, she was like, without a question, she was just like, oh, let's go shopping, right? So my wife and my sister, they just went on a shopping spree, right? And it's like the shopping spree of any woman's dreams, right? So it's like, you can buy whatever you want. And my wife was like, what? Whatever I want, right? And so it was pretty amazing. So my wife got to buy a whole bunch of maternity clothes, and it made her feel really good. And so even though she was still throwing up in a new outfit she was throwing up every day, she was in a new outfit every day. So yeah, the effect that maternity clothes, that new good-looking clothes can have on a pregnant woman or any woman, right? It really has a huge effect on your life. And so it may seem simple, right? I mean, all my sister did was go shopping with my wife. She didn't spend thousands of dollars, right? But just that act of, seeing somebody who's in need and going out to help, that was huge. That was huge. So Paying it forward, my sister would tell that to us all the time, but now I feel like I finally understand what she meant. Pay it forward, pay it. I hope we can remember it is not just money. It's not just paying off our debts. We're paying forward the love, the service. We're paying forward good feelings. In conclusion, I would just like to express my gratitude for all of those who've helped me, and I know many of us who are graduating. We'd just like to express gratitude for helping us, and I'm just so grateful for that. And my life right now, so excited. I feel like I'm really living the dream. I got a wife, got a baby. I'm teaching physics, so I'm teaching kids how to blow things up. I'm teaching kids how to use their brain. I'm teaching kids, I'm teaching kids how to break world records. Right? I have Friday challenges. I lost. I was supposed to balance a chair on my chin. I knew all the physics, but I couldn't do it. But he ended up later breaking the world record for balancing 2 meters 6. So teaching kids how to, break world records. I'm learning how to help others, so that I'm helping others pay it forward. So graduates, I hope we remember what it is. And so I hope that we all move forward after we've graduated, remembering all the help we've received, and remembering to be like Christ and to pay it forward. Okay? Pay forward the love, the service, the charity. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I've learned a lot. Thanks for all the help we've received, and I say this in His name, Jesus Christ, amen.
It's a glorious day. Things are more than okay. And love makes me happy to say. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, what a world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world.
Oh, thank you. Sing Plus Plus, and to look at their ages, I'm surprised that they're so adept at dad jokes. Thank you, Scott and Robert, for your remarks. They were absolutely perfect for today. We know that many of you are anxious to get to the primary portion for which you've arrived here today, so we're pleased to present the graduates. Those who receive the PhD degree will have the PhD hood placed on them by their graduate advisor and their department chair. We will present diplomas to those who've received the PhD first, followed by the master's degree recipients, and then by the bachelor's degree recipients. Names of the master's and bachelor's degree recipients will be read by Dr. Michael Jones from the Department of Computer Science. As the master's and graduate's degree recipients are recognized, in order to give each graduate appropriate recognition and to respect the dignity of this occasion, we ask that you please hold your applause until all graduates from each department have had their names read. Please do not cheer or use noisemakers for any individual graduates that may interfere with the recognition due to the next graduate in line. We also wish to be sensitive to those graduates who have no family members present to cheer for them. Following the applause for each department's graduates, I would ask the department chair to announce the time and place of the receptions for their graduates' families and friends. The front row up here is reserved and available for you to take pictures of your graduate. The space is limited to about 20 people at a time. Please wait until your student has advanced in the line before coming to the front row. Additionally, please follow the instructions of the ushers in order to facilitate an orderly process. In advance, I apologize for any mispronunciations here. So it is my pleasure to read the names of the PhD graduates. From Chemistry and Biochemistry, Ying Zhang. Mesoporous alumina in the gamma phase is widely used as a support in catalytic applications. For example, catalytic converters in cars, because of its high surface area, large pore volume, acid-base characteristics, and thermal stability. To improve the thermal stability of gamma alumina, dopants such as lanthanum and silica are often introduced. What is not known, even after decades of study and commercial use, is a detailed understanding of the role of dopants in the phase progression and stability as mesoporous aluminas transition at high temperatures into the alpha phase, or what is commonly called corundum or sapphire. Ying synthesized a series of over 250 pure and doped aluminas and performed a detailed structural analysis of these aluminas using paired distribution function analysis using data gathered at the Advanced Photon Source at Argonne National Labs. This thorough study of alumina local structure allows us to separate general trends in the local structure from idiosyncrasies based on synthetic method conditions, and it clearly identified the structural features responsible for improved thermal stability of the BYU aluminas. Glad you did that. Previous PDF structural studies of materials are typically limited to 1 to 5 samples because of the effort involved in the analysis. Ying's work was unprecedented in scale and effort. Ying has taken a position at an Intel processing facility in Portland, Oregon. Join me in congratulating Ying. From Computer Science, Paul Mark Bodley. Paul's work addresses the question of whether or not computers can exhibit autonomous creativity, focusing particularly on the domain of music composition and the challenge of global structure. His approach incorporates a modular machine learning framework called hierarchical Bayesian program learning, which facilitates breaking the problem of music composition into smaller pieces and focuses primarily on developing machine learning models that solve the problems related to structure. He has developed an adaptation of non-homogeneous Markov models that enables long-range constraints and a structural learning model that extends sequence alignment techniques from bioinformatics. He's incorporated these advances into a full-fledged computational system called POP-STAR, pronounced POP-STAR. I don't even know what to say, and has shown that the system can be argued to possess, to varying degrees, the characteristics of creativity. Paul is very grateful for the love and support of his wife, Courtney, and their 3 children, Austin, Sienna, and Autumn. They will be moving to Pocatello, Idaho, where Paul will join the Faculty of Computer Science at Idaho State University. Congratulations, Paul. From the Department of Mathematics, Dallas C. Smith was originally from Broomfield, Colorado, received a bachelor's degree in math and physics from BYU, and then later a master's degree in optical science from the University of Rochester. In his PhD dissertation, Dallas introduced a number of techniques for studying real and theoretical networks. This includes networks such as the World Wide Web, social networks, metabolic networks, etc. Dallas used these techniques to find hidden network structures, develop network growth models, and determine the effect of network symmetries on a network spectrum. The results of this work can be found in a number of papers he has written on the subject, which can broadly be described as spectral network analysis. Dallas will join the math department this following year as a visiting assistant professor. Congratulations, Dallas. From the Department of Physics and Astronomy, Brent Owen Reichman. Brent has studied how the high-amplitude jet noise from military aircraft travels through the atmosphere. Brent has shown how shock waves, which lead to an annoying crackling quality to the noise, develop and decay, and has developed new metrics to quantify them. His research, which focused primarily on the noise produced from the F-35, will be used to help improve military operations to protect the hearing of military personnel and minimize the impact on communities and the environment. Along the way, Brent helped lead complex noise measurements of the F-35, explosions, machine gun muzzle blasts, space vehicle launches, and the most powerful rocket motor ever built. Brent received an Air Force fellowship to support his research and has authored or co-authored more than 10 refereed publications, with more in preparation. Dr. Reichman will shortly be moving to Arizona with his wife Angela and their 2 boys to begin work at Raytheon. Congratulations, Brent. We will now have the names of the Masters of Science and Bachelors of Science students' names read by Professor Michael Jones.
Receiving master's degrees in chemistry and biochemistry, Ellen Kelsey Parker. Janice Darko. That concludes our master's degrees in chemistry and biochemistry. Receiving master's degrees in computer science, Iris Ruby Seaman. Thank you. Maylin Jin. That concludes our master's degrees in computer science. Receiving master's degrees in geological sciences, Colin Gardner Jensen. Brian Noel Packer. That concludes our master's degrees in geological sciences. Receiving master's degrees in mathematics, Lindsay Janae Solberg, Vandy Toombs, Alexander Jin Shumway, Shane Alexander McQuarrie, David Spencer Karchner, Katie Meek Karchner, wife of David Spencer Karchner, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Public Health. Jesse Friedbaum, Christopher James Bott. That concludes our master's degrees in mathematics. Receiving master's degrees in mathematics education, Kylie Victoria Polsky. Konda Lu Cao. Kea Elliston. That concludes our master's degrees in mathematics education. Receiving master's degrees in physics and astronomy, Joseph Scott Lawrence. That concludes our master's degrees in physics and astronomy. Receiving bachelor's degrees in chemistry and biochemistry, Ashley Amy Alphin. That concludes our bachelor's degrees in chemistry and biochemistry.
Thank you for loaning us these wonderful students for this short time. It's been a privilege to work with them. We congratulate the graduates, and we invite them and their guests to celebrate with us at a reception in W170 Benson, more popularly known as the Benson Fishbowl, immediately following this convocation. Thank you.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in computer science, Nicholas Ryan Angel. Kyle Richard Hoover. Felipe Elias Centeno Campos. Daniel David Sterin. Graduating summa cum laude, Michael Lynn Richards. Patrick Benjamin Wilson. Jessica Elise Jameson. Corey John Woodfield. Alexander James Boswell. Luke Allen Summers. Benjamin James Marker. Moises Abraham Molina. Stephen Joseph Richens. Cole Andrew Lyman. Logan Mark Christensen. And that concludes our bachelor's degrees in computer science.
On behalf of the Computer Science Department, I'd like to congratulate the graduates. It has been a pleasure to work with them. We'd like to invite both them and their friends and family to celebrate with us in the lobby of the Talmadge Building immediately following these proceedings.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in geological sciences, Porter Carl Hinsey. Caleb James McCurry. Colby J. Pearson. And that concludes our bachelor's degrees in geological sciences.
We too are proud of our graduates, appreciate their time in the department, their contributions to our department. They've just been an awesome group to work with. We'd like to honor them with a reception in this building, room 3328, immediately after the convocation. That's just up one flight and off to the right.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in mathematics. Alexander Joel White. Spencer Tate Giddens. Aaron Matheson. Alexandra Greenwood Hurst. Ray David Todd. Graduating cum laude, James Riley Scott. Graduating magna cum laude, Bonnie Reed Scott, wife of James Riley Scott, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. Jason Craig White. And that concludes our bachelor's degrees in mathematics.
We'd like to congratulate all the graduates in mathematics along with their families and parents. It was noted earlier by Sing++ that geology rocks, but of course math counts. We'll have a reception afterwards in the 5th floor of this building, 5519. Thank you.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in mathematics education, Christina Noel Blazer. Ryan Travis Blazer, graduating with a bachelor's degree in computer science. Paul Benjamin Stewart. That concludes our bachelor's degrees in mathematics education.
We would like to congratulate all of our graduates. We're grateful for the opportunity that we've had to work with them over the past few years. We would like to invite them with their family and friends to join us at a reception immediately following this convocation in room 154 of the Talmadge building right across the hall from the math lab.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in physics and astronomy, Reese David Rasband. Graduating summa cum laude, Tyler Bradley Averett. Karen Taylor Averett, wife of Tyler Bradley Averett, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in English Language. Graduating cum laude, Rachel Lavelle Kruger. Clint Andrew Carlson. Robert Lee Field. Sterling Baird. Mark Hunter Standring. Aaron Burton Vaughn. That concludes our bachelor's degrees in physics and astronomy.
we would like to congratulate all of the graduates today and invite those that graduated in physics and astronomy and physics teaching and teaching of physical science to a graduation event that begins at 10:15 with the physics demo show, 11 o'clock with a luncheon in the Pendulum Court area of the Iron Science Center, and 12:30 with a planetarium show to end it. Thank you.
Receiving bachelor's degrees in statistics, Bliss Campbell. Claire Diane Hardister. Emmeline Shea Peck. Danielle Rupert. Carolina Ojeda Smith. Amanda Michelle Romrell. Corey Alex Ortiz. Robert Lauren Wall. Woo Sub Yoon. Trevor Pin Johnson. Sam Young Sun Kim. Madison Elizabeth Jones. Douglas Lamont Fenwick. Jordan Paul Allen. Graduating cum laude with university honors, Austin Keith Murphy. And that concludes our bachelor's degrees in statistics.
Graduates, congratulations. We're grateful for who you are and for all you've contributed to the department, and look forward to watching the great things that will come forward. We invite you and your family and friends to a reception in your honor in room 3211 in this building right after the convocation.
Just one final congratulations to our graduates. What a wonderful day. A fitting conclusion to your amazing efforts that brought you to this point today. The successful graduation today of our students and of this convocation is due in large part to the efforts of Shane Jorgensen, director of our College Advisement Center, his assistant Brooke Anderson, and the many students and staff who work in the college office who have provided so much support. Will all of you please stand and be recognized so that we can offer our appreciation for your efforts? We ask that the audience and graduates to remain seated until after the closing prayer until the faculty have completed their exit from this room. Following the faculty and administration exit, we invite the audience to remain seated as the graduates exit this room. After the graduates have exited, we invite you to meet your graduate in the garden court area just behind us at the back of the ballroom. By meeting in the garden court area, you will help us keep the hallway clear for those who are trying to pass through the area. We remind graduates that rented gowns and hoods should be returned soon afterward to the upper level of the BYU store. As an added incentive, and hold on, graduates, for this exciting news, as an added incentive to those returning their gowns and hoods, the BYU store will be offering a free alumni license plate cover. If any of you are unsure of the location for your student's reception, The various department receptions are printed on the back of your program. The closing prayer will now be offered by Vandy Toms, who has just graduated with a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Vandy.
Our dear Father in heaven, we thank thee so much for this wonderful day. We thank thee that we were able to attend this wonderful university, and we're thankful for the blessings that we've received in our time here. We ask thee that we'll be able to have thy Spirit with us as we go forth to the world, that we will do all that thou would have us do. We ask thee that we'll be able to accomplish those things that we desire, as well as what thou desires of us. We thank thee for thy Son and his atoning sacrifice, and for the support and love of all our families and friends who have helped us along the way. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.